So I've got things looking pretty set up. Thank goodness for fathers with apartments with workshop areas. I have just taken over this workshop area because from what I understand, nobody really uses it and I really need a proper workspace. So yeah, so being here, having these little machines set up means a lot to me and I'm kind of emotional about it and I'm just really grateful that I get to do this. And I'm gonna have fun with it. Number one, out of all of this experience, I just wanna have fun. And that's what we're gonna do. This makeshift setup works quite well and I have quite a bit of privacy. I don't think anybody from the building has even noticed that I'm in here yet. So it's okay, but I suppose I'm a little bit spoiled and I do miss having proper tools. I definitely miss having an industrial machine. Having proper lighting would be beneficial. Another thing that I am struggling with is draping because I don't have a form. I feel like I could definitely be going a lot faster if I did have a form. So this morning I called around to all of the sewing and fabric shops and I found a space. It's called the Makehouse and they offer workshops and sewing classes. So I called them up and they do have an adjustable dress form that I can use. From what I can see online, it's a really cool spot and the girls that run it seem amazing. So I'm hoping I can learn a little bit more about their space, what they do, how it came to be, and learn a little bit more about them.
My name's Jenny Ambrose and I run the Makehouse in Victoria. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet. And I was...
Me too!
Yeah, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet. And then I sat in on an operation one day because I used to volunteer at a vet clinic. And I knew that I was never going to get over that. So that was my first thought. And I didn't have the idea in my head at all that I would be self-employed. I think that actually came after doing so many different types of jobs that I realized that I probably eventually would need to work for myself because I was always trying to change the places that I was working at.
Yeah. Did you find, was it kind of a broad experience in terms of employment or were you always kind of within a creative realm? Or?
Oh, no.
No?
I've done so many different types of jobs. I was definitely mostly in the service industry when I was from age 16 to, on and off, to even into my 30s if I needed to fall back and things. And then I was also a home care worker. I worked in offices, I did retail, I worked in hotels, front desk, that kind of thing. And
Ooh.
The best job that I ever had was actually the first place that I was hired to teach sewing. It's actually the only time I've ever been sad to leave employment under someone else's wing. So going into business for myself was very, very daunting, especially the first time around. I was 26, and I didn't really have a business background and I was still figuring out how to sew professionally, and there was a lot of things going on simultaneously. So it was very daunting the first time.
26 is pretty young. So this wouldn't be your first venture then?
No.
Oh.
The Makehouse has definitely evolved over the years, and I would say my goalpost for what the business can do in terms creatively and for growth has always changed and evolved every single year. And so it started out as this little seed, this little part-time seed, and then now it's turned into a place where we have employees and other different workshop hosts who come in and out, and it's definitely what we've been able to actually teach people and having people coming back for 4 years. Some of our students have started coming here 4 years ago, and that's when you've taught a child when they were 10 and now they're 16 going for their license and they come here to volunteer. it makes you feel a little bit older, but it also makes you feel really good that that person actually like was their first engagement with sewing was with us, and then they've kept at it. And even if we don't see people every week anymore, we're like, we know we have that contact, we'll see them around and they're still at it. So I think that a lot of people are starting to realize that fast fashion is an unsustainable way to keep moving in terms of people clothing oneself. What we see is like this huge surge of people that are wanting to learn to sew. Some people that want to learn to sew from scratch, but many people that want to learn how to repurpose or like restyle or make things fit better. I think anyone who's starting a business of any kind now needs to be thinking about ways that they can reduce their waste, recycle anything that they can, anything that's possible. We create a lot of textile waste. We're a sewing studio and we teach kids. And what kids do when you give them a piece of fabric is, instead of, if you're not watching, they will take it away and they will cut a giant hole out of the middle of the fabric, leaving very awkward bits and make it difficult to fold. But so anyway, we use everything we can, but there are like scraps that do go into the scrap bucket, and then what we use those for is we stuff like animals, like stuffed animals and pillows and all kinds of stuff. So we're actually just like using all that waste, and then when we have too much, often we get to the end of summer and we have more than what we can use. We bag it up, put it on Use Victoria, and other crafters, makers, or people like sewing from the sewing community who are looking for like just odds and ends, or artists will come and pick them up from us. And so that stuff does not go in the garbage. Like, we don't actually put any fiber waste in the garbage, like thread and all that stuff. It all just goes in the textile waste, and then that will get turned into something or used by somebody.
So what would be some words of advice that you might give to a younger you?
A younger me?
Yeah.
Maybe a younger me, I would maybe tell her to listen a little more carefully. Because sometimes, I personally think that when you're in your 20s, sometimes there's a little bit of a word shield when you don't want to hear something. But you don't want to listen so carefully that you never try anything. Be kind to other people and to share information, because I feel like a lot of people, especially when they start a business, they build up a wall around them, and it's like, my idea, my business, mine. And what I have found is like when I have shared with someone else, I've gained back as well so much, because you can strengthen your own business and your own goals by both encouraging and helping to give someone else a leg up.
Oh wow, I am just feeling so pumped, so motivated, and so inspired by my conversation with Jenny today. She has an amazing business here that I am really appreciating right now. I mean, there's great lighting, there's adjustable tables, there's pins, scissors, everything you could need, and I am diving in. You know, this whole crazy idea that I have that I'm gonna upcycle and thrift all these materials and build them into these outfits for the girls to wear on the runway. It's all starting to come together, and I'm starting to see the final vision, and I just can't wait to see how it all comes together.